Hey, Shad here with Speed Addicts, the fastest growing gear site on the web, and today we're going to uncrate EBC's CK series clutch plates. What's up, Speed Addicts fam? Before we give you the down low on EBC's CK series, do us a favor, subscribe to the Speed Addicts channel. That way you continue to be educated about the latest and greatest in the power sports industry. All you have to do is subscribe, and we're going to help you make great buying decisions. Also, if you'd like to support us here at speedaddicts.com, you could do so by simply shopping with us. There's a link in the description below that'll take you right over to speedaddicts.com in case you're not already over there, like you should be. It'll take you to the full selection of EBC clutch options, and there are several. Today we're going to be talking about the CK series. By the way, we really appreciate your support shopping with us instead of those corporate monoliths. Really helps us out over at Speed Addicts. Okay, first of all, EBC, a British company with production plants in only 2 locations. One, the original global headquarters in jolly old England, and then they have a plant in USA, in Ohio, which means they are going to control end-to-end the fabrication, the design, the production of all their high-quality braking components and their clutch components, including the CK series friction plates we're going to speak about in today's video. I personally run EBC brakes and clutches on all my motorcycles for the past several decades, and we've been selling them for about 20 years. Okay, so your options when it's time to replace your clutch on either your dirt bike, ATV, or street-going motorcycle, you can, number one, just replace the friction disc. That's what we're looking at here today. The CK series kits are affordable, but they only include that friction plate. Now, this is typically what is worn out. This is the reason your clutch is no longer functioning properly. It's slipping, right? That's because these little friction pads have been worn off. You can see those little pads have been worn off, and now you essentially have the backing plate and then your factory steels. Clutches on motorcycles use a combination of these friction plates, these steel plates alternated, and then springs. Either your traditional spring like so, or a diaphragm spring, which is essentially a deformed steel plate that's got a little flex to it, okay? So one or the other. So you got these 3 components. Now when you replace your clutch, do you need to replace the springs, the steels, and the friction plates? Well, the answer is clearly no, because you see EBC selling just the friction plates here. So if you are on a budget, or you just don't care to buy the full kit for one reason or another, you can just buy these friction plates, and it's going to save you money, and it will get you back on the road in most cases. Now, it is recommended, and these kits usually are in the $60 to $100 range, whereas if you buy the full kits that include the steels, the friction plates, and the springs, those kits are upward of $100, usually around the $150 price mark. And there's more exotic options in terms of the material for the race kits that will drive the price closer to $200. So you can save the money, use your existing steel plates and existing springs. Now, this is not always recommended. A lot of times, especially those springs that you already have in your motorcycle, are a little bit worn out, and if you don't get the proper pressure on your array of steels and friction plates, then you could run into slippage, and then you could essentially cook that new friction disc set prematurely, okay? So you might want to consider, if you are on a budget, you can buy the CK kit like we're going to talk about today, and then you can purchase on its own a spring kit, and these are very inexpensive. It's really the steels that add the price when you buy the full kit with the steels and the springs. So my advice to you, you're on a budget, buy the CK series plates at the minimum, and then add on that EBC spring kit, especially if your OE springs have not ever been replaced before and the bike's getting older. All right, so that's my advice. Now let's talk about these friction plates themselves. So these are cork plates. CK stands, that C stands for cork. And this is cork and resin. You can actually see little specks of that cork in there. And this is going to allow it's going to create the friction, allows your clutch to come together and do its thing. Now, Alternatively, as you go up in the range, you could get the carbon or aramid fiber plates that look a little bit different. See, just this plain black. Now, these are more resistant to heat and friction and are going to perform better under racing conditions, but not necessary for most recreational or street riders. So this is an option. You can do this if you want to step up to one of the racing kits from EBC. And you don't have to be a racer. You could just be someone that wants a higher performance kit. They typically, ooh, almost locked up there. Too much Red Bull, Matt. Quit giving me Red Bull. They typically have a little bit more bite. These aramid fiber kits, the upgrade racing kits, will usually take on or grab quicker. So be aware of that. But I run them in most of my street bikes over the years, and I like the way they feel. But if you have a commuter or just a general recreational bike, dirt, street, ATV, you name it, the CK series is a heavy-duty cork kit that is going to perform as well as, if not better, than your OEM material. Now, a question a lot of people ask is about oil, and what oil should I be running? Because some places on the internet will say you can't use synthetic oils with cork friction plates. Now, what our advice to you is, follow your manufacturer's guidelines. Do not change your oil to fit your clutch. You want to prioritize your motor first. So whatever your manufacturer is saying in terms of oil is going to be what you're going to use. Now, is there some truth that cork plates prefer non-synthetic oil? Perhaps. But what we've been told by EBC is that if you're using a high-quality synthetic with one of their cork kits, the CK series, you should be just fine. Okay? That's my recommendation in the oil department. Now, when you're installing clutch plates like this, you're going to soak them in that oil that you're choosing to use in your machine for several hours, so that it will impregnate your friction material, because you don't want to run that without the oil. The oil is going to keep them, it's going to handle the friction, but also the cooling of the plates. And if they're not properly impregnated or soaked up some of that oil, you're going to run into problems real fast. Of course, we in EBC recommend you use a qualified technician to service your machine. But if you're going to take a run at this yourself, make sure you have the proper tools, the proper specs for all of the fasteners that you will be removing and reattaching, and gaskets where required. Also, when you're taking off that your existing clutch plate cover, I recommend always stacking the plates and discs in the exact order they came off, so that you can replicate that when things go back into place. And if you're removing your basket, EBC has a clutch basket tool that makes that removal much easier, and it's fairly inexpensive. There you have it, the EBC CK clutch plate series. Nice upgrade over stock. It's a little bit heavier duty from a trusted name in the clutch component business, the folks out at EBC. If you have questions about which system is right for you, do you need to go with the racing system? Can you get away with the CK series? Talk to our techs. We are here, Rider Support Team, to help over the phone, email, or live chat. That's right, you can talk to a human over at speedaddicts.com. Thanks for watching. That's it for today. We'll see you next time to find out what's in the crate.